John Carter walked into the huge meeting room. The ceiling was so high it made him feel small. 93 different alien species sat around a massive table that curved like a giant horseshoe. Each alien looked different from the others. Some had scales, some had fur, and some were see-through like glass. John had come here 37 times before. Each time, the aliens asked for more things from Earth. They always wanted something new. Today would be the same as always. He took his seat at the human section. His assistant, Alice Morgan, sat next to him. She placed a stack of digital tablets on the table. Each tablet was full of demands from different alien races. The Vectari spoke first. They looked like tall purple lizards with 6 arms. Their leader pointed at John with 2 of his arms. "We need more mining rights on Earth's moon," the Vectari said. "The agreement from last month is not enough. We want the entire dark side." John smiled, even though he was tired. "We can discuss this. Earth believes in sharing resources fairly." Next, the Zephyrians floated forward. They were made of crystal and light. When they moved, they made soft ringing sounds like wind chimes. "Jupiter's moons belong to us now," the Zephyrian ambassadors sang. "Your people must leave Europa and Ganymede within 30 days. John kept his smile. "That seems extreme. Perhaps we can arrange joint research stations." The Krogath were last. They were the warriors of the galaxy. Their gray armor-like skin and red eyes made them look dangerous. Their leader slammed his fist on the table. "Give us your new shield technology," he growled. "We know you made improvements. The Krogath Empire demands this knowledge." Alice passed John another tablet. He glanced at it quickly. More demands, more threats, more aliens treating Earth like a weak child. "We value our friendship with the Krogath," John said carefully. "Let's find a solution that helps everyone." The other aliens whispered to each other. John heard some of them laughing quietly. He understood what they were thinking. They saw humans as soft, weak, too afraid to say no. For 15 years, it had been like this. Ever since humans met alien life, Earth had tried to be the peacemaker. When aliens pushed, humans stepped back. When aliens demanded, humans gave. When aliens threatened, humans negotiated. "The Council will review all requests," John announced. "Earth wants peace above all else." A young Vectari laughed openly. "Of course you do. Humans always want peace. That's why we like dealing with you." The meeting continued for 3 more hours. More demands came from smaller alien races. The Pentari wanted human medical technology. The Quilix demanded food shipments. The Morvac insisted on military advisors. John answered each demand the same way. He smiled. He nodded. He promised to consider their requests. He talked about cooperation and friendship. Alice wrote notes on her tablet. She had dark circles under her eyes. Like John, she had been doing this job too long. But she kept writing, kept recording every demand. When the meeting finally ended, the aliens left quickly. They had what they wanted, more promises from the weak humans. John sat alone with Alice in the empty chamber. "How many new demands today?" he asked. 43, Alice replied. "That's 12 more than last session." John rubbed his tired eyes. "They're getting bolder." "They don't respect us anymore," Alice said quietly. "If they ever did." John stood up slowly. His back hurt from sitting so long. "We keep trying. That's what Earth wants. Peace through patience." As they left the chamber, neither of them saw the security cameras recording everything. They didn't know that military officers on Earth watched every council session. They couldn't see that humanity's patience was wearing thin. The galaxy had mistaken kindness for weakness. It was an error that would soon cost them dearly. But for now, John Carter walked out into the space station corridor, still believing that diplomacy would save them all. He was wrong. The alarm woke Admiral Sam Brooks at 3 in the morning. Red lights flashed in his sleeping quarters aboard the space station. He jumped out of bed and grabbed his uniform. Computer, report, Sam said while getting dressed. Priority 1 distress signal from civilian ship Horizon's Hope, the computer answered. 10,000 colonists aboard. Ship seized by unknown forces. Sam ran to the command center. His second in command, Commander Lisa Park, was already there. She stood in front of the main screen, watching the emergency data scroll past. "It's the Krogath," Lisa said. "Their ships surrounded Horizon's Hope in neutral space. They're taking the colonists prisoner." Sam felt his hands tighten into fists. "That's the 42nd human ship they've attacked in 6 months." "Yes, sir. And this time they took families, children." The command center filled with officers as news spread. Everyone watched the screen showing the massive colony ship being pulled toward Krogath space. The humans aboard were helpless. "Contact Ambassador Carter," Sam ordered. "We need an emergency council meeting. Now." 2 hours later, John Carter entered the council chambers. He expected to see all the ambassadors waiting. Instead, the huge room was almost empty. Only junior staff members sat at the alien desks. They barely looked up when he walked in. "Where is everyone?" John asked. A young Vectari diplomat shrugged her 6 shoulders. "The senior ambassadors are busy. They sent us to listen to your complaint." John felt something cold in his stomach. 10,000 human civilians were just kidnapped. This isn't a small complaint. "File the proper forms," the Vectari said. She went back to reading her datapad. "The council will review them next month." John stood there, not believing what he heard. Behind him, Alice Morgan gasped quietly. They had seen many insults over the years, but this was different. This was complete dismissal. "You don't understand," John tried again. "The Krogath took a colony ship. Families, children, in neutral space." A young Zephyrian floated past him. "The Krogath do what they want. You humans always talk instead of act. File your complaint." The other junior diplomats nodded in agreement. Some even smiled. They had learned from their leaders that humans were weak, that Earth would never do anything but talk. John felt his hands shake, not from fear, but from anger. Real anger, the kind he had pushed down for 15 years. "No," he said. The simple word made everyone look up. The Vectari diplomat frowned. "What do you mean, no?" "I mean no. We won't file a complaint. We won't wait for next month." John's voice grew stronger. "We want our people back. Now." The young aliens laughed. They actually laughed at him. "Or what?" the Zephyrian asked. "Will you give another speech about peace?" John turned and walked out. Alice followed him, almost running to keep up. In the corridor, she grabbed his arm. "John, what are we going to do?" He looked at her with eyes she had never seen before. The patient diplomat was gone. Something else had taken his place. "We're going to show them who we really are," John said. Back on Earth, President Helen Walsh received the report. She read it twice, then called her military advisors. Within an hour, the highest-ranking officers surrounded her in the Situation Room. General Marcus Cole spoke first. "Madam President, they've pushed us too far. 15 years we've held back. 15 years we've been patient." Helen looked around the table. These were good people, peaceful people. But even peaceful people had limits. "They have our colonists," she said. "What options do we have?" Marcus activated a holographic display. It showed things most aliens didn't know existed. Hidden bases, secret shipyards, weapons that Earth had built but never used. "Operation Iron Resolve," Marcus said. "We get our people back." Helen studied the plan. It would change everything. The galaxy would learn the truth about humanity. The real truth. "Do it," she ordered. The age of human patience was ending. 2 weeks passed. The Galactic Council kept delaying the emergency meeting about Horizon's Hope. Every day, John Carter's office received the same message. Review postponed. Submit additional documentation. Meanwhile, 3 more human ships disappeared near Krogath space. The transport vessel Star Runner vanished with 500 passengers. The cargo ship Pacific Dream sent one distress signal before going silent. The research vessel Newton's Gift simply stopped responding to all communications. In her office on Earth, President Helen Walsh read the intelligence reports. Her hands gripped the datapad tighter with each page. "They're selling our people as slaves," she said to General Marcus Cole. "In the outer territories. Like animals." Marcus nodded grimly. "Our spies confirmed it yesterday. The Krogath aren't even hiding it anymore. They're advertising human workers as premium labor stock on the black market." Helen stood and walked to the window. Outside, she could see children playing in a park, safe, free, unlike the thousands of humans now in chains somewhere in space. "Call a meeting," she said. "All military leaders, all defense ministers. It's time." 6 hours later, Earth's most powerful military minds gathered in the secure underground bunker. The room hummed with tension. These men and women had trained for war their whole lives, but they had chosen peace instead. Now that choice was being tested. Helen entered, and everyone stood. She waved them back to their seats. "You know why we're here," she began. "For 15 years, we've shown the galaxy our peaceful nature. We've turned the other cheek. We've negotiated when we could have fought." Admiral Sam Brooks spoke up. "And they see it as weakness, Madam President. Every day we wait, more humans disappear." "The Vectari are now demanding our colonies in the Vega system," added General Patricia Lee. "The Zephyrians want our technology labs on Mars. 6 other species have made similar demands this week alone." Helen looked at each face around the table. "What are you proposing?" Marcus stood and activated the holographic display. A massive military operation appeared in blue light. "Operation Iron Resolve," he said. "We stop asking. We stop negotiating. We go get our people." The display showed dozens of star systems. Red dots marked where human prisoners were being held. Blue arrows showed attack routes. "Madam President," Marcus continued, "we've spent 15 years building defenses while pretending to be weak. Our real fleet is 10 times larger than anyone knows. Our weapons—" He paused. "Let's just say we've been very busy." General Lee added, "We can hit all target locations simultaneously. Rescue operations in 16 systems. Minimal casualties. Maximum psychological impact." Helen studied the plan. "The galaxy will never see us the same way again." "Good," Sam said bluntly. "They need to learn that human patience has limits." The room fell silent. Everyone understood what this meant. Once they acted, there was no going back. The image of humanity as peaceful weaklings would shatter forever. Helen thought about the families on Horizon's Hope, the children sold as slaves, the crews of vanished ships. Her duty was to protect them all. "How long do you need to prepare?" she asked. 48 hours, Marcus replied. "Do it. But remember, we're not like them. We rescue our people. We disable their ships. We don't massacre. We're still human." The generals and admirals nodded. They understood. This wasn't about revenge. It was about showing the galaxy that kindness wasn't weakness, and patience wasn't infinite. As the meeting ended, Helen remained alone in the bunker. She stared at the operation plan still glowing in the air. In 2 days, everything would change. The galaxy would learn the truth about humanity. She picked up her secure communicator and called John Carter. "John, it's time to bring you home. Your diplomatic mission is over." On the other end, John's voice was tired but relieved. "I understand, Madam President. What should I tell them?" "Nothing. Let our actions speak louder than our words ever could." The countdown began. 48 hours until the galaxy learned its greatest mistake. The first sign came quietly. Human diplomatic ships began leaving alien ports without explanation. Trading vessels canceled their routes. Ambassador teams packed their offices and departed for Earth. The Galactic Council barely noticed at first. They were too busy with their own affairs. But when John Carter requested one final meeting, suddenly every ambassador found time to attend. The chamber filled with senior representatives from all 93 species. John walked to the podium alone. No assistants, no datapads, just him in a simple black suit. The Krogath ambassador spoke first. So the humans finally come begging again. What is it this time, Carter? More empty threats about your missing colonists. John looked around the chamber. Every alien face showed the same thing. Amusement. They thought this was another weak human protest. Earth has requested the return of our citizens for 14 days. John said calmly. We've asked nicely. We've filed complaints. We've followed your procedures. The Vectari leader laughed, his purple scales shaking. And we told you to wait. The council will review your case next month. Maybe. That's what I thought you'd say, John replied. So this is our final diplomatic communication on this matter. The chamber erupted in laughter. Real, mocking laughter. The Zephyrian ambassador chimed like breaking glass. Or what? The crystal being sang. You'll file another protest. Write a strongly worded letter. The Morvek representative joined in. Please, human, your species has shown its nature. You talk. You negotiate. You compromise. It's all you know how to do. John waited for the laughter to die down. When he spoke again, his voice was different, harder. You're right. We do prefer talking. We've spent 15 years showing you that. We thought the galaxy might be ready for a species that chose peace over war. Because you're weak. The Krogath ambassador roared. You have no choice but peace. John smiled. It wasn't a diplomat's smile anymore. We'll come get them ourselves, he said simply. The laughter started again, even louder than before. The Quilix ambassador fell off his floating chair. The Pentari delegates clutched each other in mock fear. You? Your little patrol ships against the Krogath fleet. The Krogath ambassador could barely speak through his amusement. Please try. We could use the entertainment. John turned to leave. At the door, he stopped and looked back. You had 15 years to learn the difference between choosing peace and being incapable of war. That was your chance. You wasted it. He walked out as the laughter continued. But a few older ambassadors noticed something troubling. The human's hands hadn't shaken. His voice hadn't wavered. He had seemed relieved. The Zephyrian elder floated toward the viewing window. Outside, human ships were undocking from the station. Diplomatic vessels, trade ships, all leaving at once. That's strange, the elder murmured. 8 hours later, strange reports began coming in. Human colonies on the frontier were evacuating. Mining operations shut down. Research stations went dark. All human civilian traffic pulled back to defended space. The younger ambassadors made jokes about humans running away. The older ones felt uneasy. Something was happening. Something big. In Earth's military command, the countdown reached 0. Admiral Sam Brooks stood before a massive tactical display. Hundreds of officers waited at their stations. All units report ready, Commander Lisa Park announced. Sam nodded. Execute Operation Iron Resolve. All groups, commence. Across human space, things began to change. Cargo ships revealed hidden weapons. Passenger liners dropped their disguises, showing military-grade armor underneath. Peaceful space stations deployed shield generators nobody knew they had. The galaxy thought it knew humanity. They thought 15 years of watching had shown them everything. They were wrong. In 12 hours, every alien in the galaxy would learn the truth. Humans hadn't been weak. They had been patient. There was a difference. The veil was about to fall. The galaxy learned the truth at midnight, Earth Standard Time. In 16 star systems, human ships emerged from jump points that had been hidden for 15 years. Secret paths through space that no alien knew existed. Captain Maria Rodriguez commanded the lead strike force entering Krogath space. Her ship, the Hampton, had pretended to be a cargo hauler for 5 years. Now it transformed around her. Cargo pods fell away like old skin. Hidden weapons emerged from the hull. Shields powered up with a deep blue glow. "All stations report ready," her weapons officer called out. Maria watched the tactical display. 20 more human ships appeared beside the Hampton, each one shedding its disguise. The peaceful merchants and transports became warships more advanced than anything the galaxy had seen. Krogeth Defense Fleet launching. The sensor officer reported. "They're hailing us." "Put them through," Maria ordered. A Krogeth commander appeared on screen. His red eyes were wide with confusion. "What is this?" "Identify yourselves. Those are human trade ships." Maria smiled coldly. "Not anymore. This is Captain Rodriguez of Earth Force Navy. You have our people. We're here to take them back." The Krogeth laughed, but it sounded forced. "Your merchant ships against our war fleet. You humans have lost your minds." "All ships, weapons free," Maria announced. "Remember, disable, don't destroy. We're still better than them." The Krogeth fleet opened fire first. Energy beams and missiles filled space between the two forces. The aliens expected the human ships to explode like paper toys. Instead, the beams hit shields that shouldn't exist. Blue energy barriers absorbed the attacks like they were nothing. The missiles exploded harmlessly against invisible walls. "Return fire," Maria ordered. The human ships struck back with precision. Beams of white light sliced through Krogeth shields like butter. Each shot targeted specific systems, weapons, engines, shield generators. No killing blows, just surgical strikes that left ships helpless. The battle lasted 6 minutes. When it ended, 30 Krogeth warships drifted powerless in space. Not one human ship showed damage. "Signal the prison station," Maria commanded. "Tell them they have 5 minutes to release every human prisoner, or we come in shooting." The same scene played out across the galaxy. In the Vectari system, Admiral Sam Brooks led an assault on their slave markets. The purple-scaled aliens watched in horror as their mighty defense stations crumbled under human particle weapons they couldn't understand. Near the Zephyrian homeworld, General Patricia Lee commanded a fleet that moved like dancers. Her ships phased in and out of reality, using quantum drives that defied physics. The crystal beings' sonic weapons passed through empty space, where human ships had been microseconds before. On Earth, President Helen Walsh watched it all from the Situation Room. 16 operations running perfectly, decades of hidden technology finally revealed. The galaxy learning that human cargo ships had weapon systems generations ahead of anyone else. "Madam President," an aide reported, "we're receiving surrender signals from 12 locations. The rest are still fighting." Casualty reports. 0 human casualties. Enemy casualties minimal. "We're disabling, not killing. Just as ordered." Helen nodded. This was the key difference. Humans could have destroyed every enemy ship. Instead, they showed restraint even in victory. The Galactic Council called an emergency session. As ambassadors gathered, they watched live feeds from the battles. Their faces showed shock, fear, and growing understanding. The Quilix ambassador whispered to his neighbor, 15 years. They had this power for 15 years and never used it. "They chose peace," the Pentari delegate replied quietly. "We thought that meant they couldn't choose war." By dawn Earth time, every human prisoner in the galaxy was free. 16 star systems had witnessed humanity's true power. The message was clear. Humans preferred peace, but heaven help anyone who forced them to fight. The veil had finally fallen. The galaxy would never be the same. The Galactic Council chamber was silent. Every seat was filled. No junior diplomats this time. Every ambassador had rushed back to face the new reality. John Carter entered the chamber differently than before. This time, Admiral Sam Brooks walked on his right. Alice Morgan stood on his left, wearing a military uniform instead of diplomatic robes. The message was clear. The holographic displays around the chamber showed the aftermath of Operation Iron Resolve. Disabled warships floated helplessly in space. Freed human prisoners waved from rescue vessels. Military bases lay in ruins, their weapons destroyed but crews still alive. John stepped up to the podium. He didn't smile. He didn't bow. He simply stood and waited. The Zephyrian ambassador spoke first, her crystal form pulsing with nervous energy. You deceived us. Your merchant fleet, your peaceful nature, all lies. Not lies, John corrected. Choices. We chose peace. We chose patience. For 15 years, we tried to show you a better way. Better way. The Krogath ambassador's scales had lost their shine. His voice shook. You pretended to be weak. You let us think. We let you show us who you really are, John interrupted. We gave you 15 years to prove the galaxy could be different. You failed. Admiral Brooks stepped forward. The room tensed. Earth's true fleet consists of 12,000 vessels, Sam announced. What you saw yesterday was less than 1% of our capability. Gasps echoed through the chamber. The Vectari leader stood up, his 6 arms waving frantically. 12,000. That's impossible. No species has resources for such a fleet. We do, Sam continued. We developed quantum shields 8 years ago. Particle weapons that can cut through any known defense 10 years ago. Phase drive technology 12 years ago. Each revelation hit the ambassadors like physical blows. They had mocked humans while Earth built weapons beyond their imagination. The Morvac delegate found his voice. Why? If you had such power, why hide it? Why let us push you around? Alice finished. Insult you. Kidnap your people. Because we hoped you were better than that. John took control again. We didn't want to rule through fear. We wanted friends, not subjects. Partners, not slaves. But you took slaves. The Pentari ambassador accused. You saw what the Krogath were doing, and did nothing. Until they took too much, John replied. Until you all made it clear that kindness was seen as weakness. That patience was stupidity. That peace was just another word for cowardice. The Quilix ambassador slithered forward. What happens now? Will you destroy us? Take revenge? This was the moment everyone feared. Humanity had the power to crush them all, to take everything they wanted, to become the tyrants of the galaxy. John looked around the room slowly. No, we're still human. We still choose peace. Confusion spread through the chamber. The Zephyrian elder chimed softly. You'll go back to your old ways. Pretend this never happened. No, Sam said firmly. Those days are over. From now on, you deal with the real Earth, the one that prefers peace but excels at war. John activated a holographic document. New treaties. Fair ones this time. Trade agreements that benefit everyone. Security pacts that protect all species equally. And if we refuse? The Krogath asked, though his voice had lost its threat. Then you'll find out what the other 99% of our fleet can do, Alice said simply. The chamber fell silent again. Slowly, one by one, the ambassadors began reading the new agreements. The Zephyrian elder was first to speak. These terms, they're actually fair. That's what we've wanted all along, John replied. We just needed you to respect us first. The lesson was clear. Humanity hadn't changed. They were still the same peaceful species that had entered the galactic community 15 years ago. But now everyone knew that peace was their choice, not their limitation. The power dynamic of the galaxy had shifted forever. The galaxy changed overnight. The Krogath Empire, once proud and threatening, became the first to sign Earth's new peace treaty. Their ambassador arrived at the signing ceremony with none of his old arrogance. He bowed deeply before placing his mark on the document. The Krogath people offer formal apology, he said quietly. We mistook your kindness for weakness. We were fools. President Helen Walsh accepted the apology with grace. We all make mistakes. What matters is learning from them. Within a month, 92 of the 93 galactic species had signed similar agreements. Only the Vecteri held out, still believing they could negotiate better terms. They learned otherwise when Earth closed all trade routes to their systems. 6 days later, they signed too. The new treaties were unlike anything the galaxy had seen. They were genuinely fair. Every species got equal access to trade routes. Disputed territories were divided based on actual needs, not military might. Research was shared openly. No one species dominated another. The human merchant fleet returned to space, but now everyone knew the truth. Those cargo ships carried hidden weapons. Those passenger liners could become battleships. That knowledge alone prevented most conflicts before they started. Captain Maria Rodriguez received promotion to admiral. She now commanded the Third Fleet, patrolling the former Krogath slave routes. Her first act was to establish rescue stations along major trade paths. Any ship in distress gets help, she told her captains. Human, Krogath, Vecteri, doesn't matter. That's what makes us different. On Mars, Earth opened its first Galactic Defense Academy. Young beings from all species came to learn not just military tactics, but the philosophy behind them. The first lesson was always the same. True strength is knowing when not to use it. General Marcus Cole became the Academy's first director. He often told students, "We taught you our weapons technology, but more importantly, we're teaching you why we rarely use it." The Zephyrians proved quickest to understand. They established meditation centers near Earth's military bases, teaching human soldiers their techniques for emotional control. It was an odd sight. Crystal beings floating beside human warriors, humming in harmony. 6 months after Operation Iron Resolve, the first interspecies science conference took place on Earth's moon. Human scientists unveiled technologies they had hidden for 15 years. Anti-gravity drives, medical regeneration chambers, food replicators that could end hunger forever. "Why share this now?" asked the Penteri lead scientist. "Because now you'll use it for good," replied Earth's science director. "Before, you would have weaponized everything. Now you understand there are better uses for knowledge." Trade flourished like never before. Ships traveled freely without fear of pirates or raiders. The Krogath, ashamed of their past actions, became the galaxy's most dedicated peacekeepers. They insisted on providing security for human colonies at no charge. "It's our penance," their new ambassador explained. "For 15 years, you protected peace. Now we understand that honor." John Carter retired from diplomatic service but remained an advisor. He often walked through the Galactic Council gardens with young diplomats from all species. "Remember," he would say, "we could have conquered you all. Instead, we chose to lift you up. That's the human way." The memorial on Earth's moon listed every human lost during the years of patience. 10,000 names from the horizon's hope, thousands more from other incidents. The inscription read, "They died believing in peace. Their sacrifice taught the galaxy that peace requires strength." At Earth's military command, Admiral Sam Brooks kept the fleets ready, not for conquest, but for protection. The galaxy was finally peaceful, but peace needed guardians. "We're still the same people we were before," Sam often reminded his officers. "We just don't hide our strength anymore." The new galactic order worked because it was built on respect, not fear. Humanity had shown its power once. Once was enough. Years later, historian Bob Chen sat in his study surrounded by thousands of documents. He was writing the definitive book about humanity's revelation. His work would be read on 100 worlds, taught in every school, remembered forever. "The humans gave us 15 years, he wrote. 15 years to be better. They showed us patience we couldn't understand. When that patience broke, we learned humanity's greatest strength wasn't their weapons. It was their choice not to use them." At the Galactic Academy, new students from every species learned this history. Young Krogath warriors studied beside Zephyrian philosophers. Vecteri engineers worked with human scientists. They all took the same oath. Strength serves peace. Power protects the weak. The galaxy prospered like never before. Trade routes buzzed with activity. Research stations made breakthroughs daily. Colonies expanded without conflict. The threat of human intervention rarely needed speaking. It hung in the air like morning mist, keeping everyone honest. John Carter, now old and gray, visited the council chambers as an observer. Young diplomats sought him out, hungry for wisdom. Ambassador Carter, a young Pentari, asked, "Why didn't humans reveal their powers sooner? You could have avoided so much suffering." John smiled with tired eyes. "We hoped you would choose to be better without seeing our strength. We wanted friends who were kind because kindness was right, not because they feared us. But they hurt your people, took your ships, sold humans as slaves." "Yes," John nodded, "and that taught us something important. Hope must have limits. Patience must have boundaries. Even the kindest heart must be willing to show its teeth." In Earth's military command, Admiral Maria Rodriguez trained the next generation. Ships still patrolled, weapons stayed ready, but they rarely fired in anger anymore. "Why do we still need such a large fleet?" a cadet asked. "The galaxy is at peace." Maria pointed to the stars. "Peace isn't the absence of conflict. It's the presence of justice. We guard that justice." The memorial on Luna grew each year, not with names of the fallen, but with messages of gratitude. Aliens who had once mocked humanity now left offerings. Former slaves thanked their rescuers. Children who grew up in the new peace wrote letters to those who made it possible. President Helen Walsh retired but gave lectures at universities. Her most famous speech ended with these words, "We showed the galaxy two faces of humanity. The patient diplomat who talked for 15 years, and the warrior who ended injustice in one night. Both are equally human. Both are equally necessary." The Galactic Council established a new tradition. Each session began with a reading of the Terran principle. The strong must protect the weak. The patient must have limits. Peace is a choice, not a weakness. Deep in the archives, historians found records of those early council meetings, videos of aliens laughing at human diplomats, documents showing dismissed complaints, evidence of how close the galaxy came to making humanity its enemy instead of its guardian. "They could have destroyed us all," the Zephyrian elder wrote in her memoirs. "They had the power. They had the reasons. Instead, they chose to be better than us. That's why they lead now." Bob Chen finished his book with a simple dedication. "To those who mistake patience for weakness, may you learn before it's too late." The book's final chapter contained one last revelation. Earth's true defensive capabilities remained classified. The 12,000 ships were real, but they were just the beginning. Humanity kept even greater secrets, hoping never to reveal them. Because humans still believed in peace, they still chose diplomacy first. They still extended patience to those who deserved it. But the galaxy would never forget the moment that patience broke. The echo of that moment would ring through time forever, a reminder that the gentlest hand could become the strongest fist if pushed too far.